Coming to you live from the Pensado Theater at the all-new SAE Los Angeles campus, Pensado's Place is brought to you by Vintage King, the Blackbird Academy, Audio Technica, Aftermaster, Isotope, Studio 202 DC, Avid, and The Recording Connection.
Our guest was a major contributor to the smash film Straight Outta Compton. His focus was critical to its success. Dave's got a new ITL. Our Avid family brings the heat straight to you on Pro Tools 12. You are going to likey. Let's crank it up. You're at the place. It's Pensado's Place.
Hey everybody, thanks for dropping by and hanging out with us. Here with my buddy Herb.
Yep, how are you, man?
Man, I'm doing good. I know how you're doing. Lots of stuff going on.
We are.
And by the way, you can't talk about any of it.
I was good. I can't talk about this week.
Chandra, I'm telling Herb what to do. That's funny, isn't it?
It's soon though, right? What we're not talking about is soon, at least.
I think so. It feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah. All right. Should I do my part now?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Hey there, A-Team. Thanks for tuning in and trust you're having a fabulous week in audio. You know your support's invaluable to us. The likes and subscribes, we are so grateful for. You power us and make stuff happen.
Yeah.
Our partners are all at the AES convention in New York. We're not, but they are all there. And of course they are. Vintage King, the Blackbird Academy, Audio Technica, Aftermaster, Isotope, Recording Connection, Studio 202 DC, and Avid. Speaking of Avid, they want you to get to know Pro Tools 12, and we do too. The new version has a lot of cool collaborative features to enhance your creativity, and you can do that with fellow creators anywhere in the world. There's subscription options, there's some marketplace options, and much, much more. We're going to unpack that out for you in the next couple weeks. But here's what Avid is providing specifically for you. Enter to win your own Pro Tools 12. We will give 2 away a week for 6 weeks. That's a whole bunch of Pro Tools 12 going someplace. Then we'll choose not 1, but 2 grand prize winners. The grand prize, Pro Tools Apogee Quartet. Very, very sweet. 14 winners in all in total. Avid is early Santa for our Pensado audience. That's why we love them. Here's what you do. Go to pensadosplace.tv/PT12. That's pensadosplace.tv/PT12. You can see it right here below me. Hit it hard, win Pro Tools 12. That will really help your creativity and get a crack at that main prize. Don't delay, get to the URL, enter right away. Anthony, Tony, Jess, and Meredith from Avid, good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah, we like that.
Great stuff.
On another front, tip of the cap to our amazing Pensado students group.
Yes.
Just want to mention your growth, your professionalism. We know different brands are reaching out to you and you're using your research skills to help out. Very impressive. My aunt, Bill, Gordon, and everything else, you carry our name proudly and we could not be prouder of you. Dave has vetoed my ability to talk about what's happening in a couple of weeks. It's hard for me to hold back because I want to share with you, so I won't. So Dave, just introduce our new ITL, will you?
Yeah. A lot of you guys ask about my music aux, so here it is.
Cool.
Sometimes you guys write me about how I do different things on the auxes that I use. Now we've gone over this quite a few times. Go back and look at some of the older Into the Layers, and you'll see different things that I do with my auxes. Now, the music aux, I'm really feeling lately like the importance of it. I kind of underestimate sometimes, and I'm going to share with you 3 ways to approach making the music aux. In other words, your music compete with the drums, amplify the vocals, generate harmonic content, all these things. And I'm showing you them from a little bit of a widening perspective. So in widening and in making tracks wider, less is always more. Now my examples are going to be a little bit more than I would normally use because I want you to hear them. But don't go too nuts with me now because you're going to create problems down the road. So here's the track. This is once again, this is Magdalena Tull. I love this song, can't hear it enough, so I'm using it on several examples. Here's all the music. Pretty amazing. So I guess I just complimented myself. The producer on this did an incredible job, and this plugin is rapidly becoming one of my favorites. It's like if you're on the space shuttle, this would be the plugin you use the most. It just does so many things. The money's right here in the stereo width. Now I'm at 157 for you. Normally I'd be in the 110, 115, 120 area. Now this is also money. Like if you put this on a stereo bass track, you can widen just the top end, but you can make everything below 500 hertz, 487 hertz. Anything below this number is now mono, which is really cool. I'm not a big fan of low frequencies coming out of different speakers in stereo. I can't get the power I want. Now we can pan our side and our middle. Balance is a regular thing. Now this thing also does a lot of cool stuff. You can check middle, side, left, right. You can reverse left and right, which is a cool feature. Phase reverse, metering. Oh, it does everything. And I'm getting to use this meter more and more and more. You can see the various things that it controls. Now let's try it without it. With it. Money in the damn bank. All right. Now this is one I use a lot. This is, by the way, this everything that this company makes. My buddy Dirk over there, and my friend Chandra, great people. Brainworks. If you see that name, just buy it. It's going to be great. This is called the BX Control 2 by Brainworks, and Brainworks is part of the Plug-in Alliance. You see down here in the lower left-hand corner. Now, they make a lot of plugins for UAD also. I don't think this is in the UAD collection yet, but this thing is, when you mix every day, this is very vital to have. So just want to share that with you. Now, center I use a lot. Here's without it. Now, sometimes I lose a little self-control and I just get too much, and I don't leave myself a proper place for the vocal to sit in, or if I start with a vocal, sometimes I get carried away. I have no self-control when it comes to volume and mixing, and I just want everything more all the time. So this allows me to create a spot in the middle to set the vocal, and then I can control what happens in the middle of this aux and what happens to the sides. Now I can, if you notice it says center and sides, I can pan these three frequencies anywhere I want in the spectrum, and then of course a master volume. So you've got a lot of control. Can't remember where that was, but this is kind of what I heard. I use that a lot, you know. Kudos to Glide and the guys at Waves. That's a winner. Now, I've shown you this guy before, and I'm gonna show it to you again because I ain't gonna lie, this bottom half just confuses me, but I think I'm figuring it out a little better, so I want to kind of show off that I know this now. My friend Matthew Lane over at Dr. MS came up with this, and there's just so many things you can do. Spend time down here and down here. This is the middle side. The manual explains focus and field. So here's the same part again without this. Ooh, what have we put all three on? Stand back, turn your volume down, this could hurt. Be sure you're near a fire extinguisher. Kind of ruined it. See you next time. Focus, man. I can't tell you how good it is to see you again, my friend. It's been way too long.
I know.
A lot of water under the bridge or over the bridge. I can't remember where the water's supposed to go. But man, I followed your career, and what a it's steady. But there's like this careers like this.
Yes, sir.
Let's start here, if you don't mind. In the early 2000s, you started out with Dre. You worked with Dre 7 or 8 years, and then you made a decision for family. Mm-hmm. How do you balance family and a top-level producer engineering career? It's really hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those things that I literally had to go and take that hiatus to learn how to do it.
Well, show me, because I'm not really good at it.
It's one of those things that you make time for the people you love, and you make time for the things that you love, and you properly compartmentalize those things, you know? So it was one of those things that I can't be all work and no play, and then all play and no work.
Yeah.
And it's really that cut and dry. If you put gray area in there, then you're gonna drag your feet at one of them.
Oh, okay.
So it was really just a black and white thing. I really wanted to make the time for my wife and my kids.
Man, congratulations. That's really amazing. Creativity is such a difficult, ephemeral concept, but you felt that your creativity has been enhanced by that move, right? Not.
Most definitely. I mean, my direct influence is my family.
Gotcha.
So you know, I went and got back in line spiritually, back in line mentally, back in line physically, you know, and just
that's cool.
Just really starting to get my life back in order.
It's pretty cool. In case you guys don't know, Bernard Edwards, the amazing, one in a million talent bass player with Chic, and wrote so many great songs, produced so many great artists. That's his dad, and that's your name too.
Yes, sir. Yep.
And so at that point in time, next thing I know, you got 6 cuts on the new Compton album from Straight Outta Compton.
Yes.
That's not easy to do.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that it definitely was a blessing, but right place, right time.
So can you name the 6? Can you name the 6 songs?
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Let me check them off. I got
One Shot, One Kill.
Mm-hmm.
Loose Cannons.
Mm-hmm.
Issues.
Mm-hmm. Why are we doing this?
Deep Water. But
he did 6 of them.
Yeah.
And they're all amazing. I've listened to all of them before this
Appreciate
interview, and actually I listened to them before I knew you were going to make it on the show. Man, congratulations! What a great record. I mean, it must be. I mean, that's some stuff that's going to be around forever. People are going to listen to that 100 years from now.
That's a blessing. Yeah.
Tell me about the process on that record. I know some of the songs have more than you credited. We were just talking to Ty, the A&R for Aftermath. Aftermath. You said that you had sent some tracks to him, and he fell in love with them and played them for Dre, and you weren't sure if they were finished or not. I mean, that's a humility I don't normally see in hip hop circles.
I was really in a point where I was just being extra creative. I wasn't keeping myself in one kind of genre or, you know, one kind of sound. So I was experimenting with a lot of stuff. And I sent everything to Ty. I sent all of my music to Ty. And I told him I just didn't want Dre to hear it. Mostly fear of rejection, but also just knowing that stuff wasn't finished. It wasn't where I wanted it to be yet. But
Is stuff ever finished?
I don't think it ever is. You know, even just listening to Compton, there's a couple of things I would love to, you know.
Yeah,
but,
I'm with you on that. So he played it for Dre.
Played it for Dre. Dre
him.
liked the tracks, and that's what started our talks back up with working.
And collaborating, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Do you feel like a lot of times in a collaborative, no, we're not talking necessarily about Compton, but sometimes things can get diluted and sometimes they can get better. How do you control all that?
I think that
You have to trust.
you have to trust. You have to trust the people that you're working with. You have to trust the orchestrator of the whole, whatever it is, a composition or whatever it is, production. But in this instance, this was my first time collaborating.
Really?
In my whole entire career, yeah.
Wow.
I've been working for 25 years in music, but the last 2 years was my first time collaborating, and I think it enhanced everything.
But you felt comfortable because you knew Dre was going to be the final say.
I knew that Dre was the orchestrator. I knew he was the conductor, and I knew that at the end of the day, everybody I was working with was going to be A1. You know, so if anything, they made like I'm pretty much the lowest man on the totem pole when it comes down to the musicians that he has in the room. But I know that creatively, I can hold my own with everybody there.
Oh, absolutely. But still, those little insecurities creep into guys like us, don't
Of course, they kick you right in the back of the head.
How do you approach integrating live instruments? Because I know that's your background within program instruments. Would you much prefer just do live instruments all the time, or program all the time, or do you like a hybrid version?
I love the hybrid. I love the hybrid because there are certain sounds, like I love spacey sounds, and you know, a lot of my favorite music to listen to is you know, like the retro psycho rock. Like I love that stuff. So,
Can you give me a band name?
yeah, Utopia.
Oh, wow. Because immediately what came to mind was PM Dawn, remember?
Oh, you're
Sailing
talking
on
about
a
recent.
Ocean of
Oh,
Bliss
yeah.
or something. What was that song name?
Set Adrift of
Yeah.
Benny Bliss. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Man, so you use live sounds to give you that feeling?
I use live sounds to give me the analog feel, especially with everything being so digital. It gives the roundness. And it's also, you know, all I've ever known, and especially working with Dre, you know, we integrate live instrumentation all the time. We replay most of the stuff that we do anyway, if it has samples in it.
Oh, really? And how hands-on was Dre?
With Compton,
Yeah.
top to bottom. This is all his vision. This is all his, you know, his brainchild. So,
When you start a song, what's your creative process? Everybody's different, and everybody seems, all the guys at your level seem to come up with great stuff. But I ask that question to my friends, in particular friends like you, and it's always a different process for everyone.
Yes,
What's your process?
I like to go top to bottom. I like to start with a melody. I'm chords crazy. Like I love the more plush and the more eclectic they are, the more that they influence me. So I like to start from the top and then build around it, because if I start with the drums, for some reason it just locks me into that tempo or the drive of those drums. So I like the music to kind of set my mood.
So if you don't have a melody, do you just hum any melody to get you started, or do you like to start with an exact melody?
No, sometimes I just
Chord changes?
well, chord changes, but sometimes I'll just start to dial into a new VST or whatever and hear a sound, and you never know how that sound's gonna, you know. Scott
Storch told me one time, I was mixing a lot for him, and I'd pull up the track and I'd think to myself, this is amazing, but it wasn't overly complex. And I would say, Scott, how does somebody go from this track to writing those great melodies over your tracks? And he said, well, I'm always singing and humming a melody when I'm working. And I'm like, well, how many times do those melodies make the record? And he's like, well, not very many, but at least I know one melody will work. I thought that was genius.
That is.
You know, that guided him into chords and into tempos and things. I don't know if Scott will remember that. We'll have to get Scott on the show and talk to him about that real soon. How do you take influences like Prince and Stevie Wonder and Premier, Battle Cat, those guys? How do you take those influences and not copy them, but let them filter through your sensibilities and make it onto your records? How does a person use influences? Because we were talking earlier about how much in the years ago that Pete Rock and CL Smooth influenced me, and everything I did, whether I was doing a pop ballad or a hip hop song, came out like that. It was just something, that sound just just took my head over, and that's probably not the best thing to do in terms of being a mixer for hire. But how do you use your influences? Because you don't. I can feel the emotion and the passion that your influences have, but you don't tend to copy them. How do you do that so well?
Well, the people that influence me, I know why they influence me, and there's key things with each and every one of them. And the thing about it is that that's what I grab from them. Instead of taking their sound, I love the aggression of Premier's beats. I love the aggression of everything that drives his sound. Is just so aggressive. So that aggression is something that I take from him. I love the fact that Prince doesn't stay the course. He goes wherever he chooses, and the emotion that comes through his music is felt around the world. That's something I take from him. Stevie Wonder, his chord progressions are amazing.
What about Teddy? Teddy's my boy. What'd you get?
I love the fact that Teddy is a hybrid to me. So Teddy with the chords and the old school feel, but his hip hop and his drums slap.
Yeah, Teddy's a technological genius, man. He's always ahead of all of us.
Yes.
The Blackstreet album, The Fix, that song.
Yes, sir.
That's another song that came down the pike. And my dear friend Keith Andes played it for me and said, Dave, you're going to have to start the mix over. This just changed everything. And he played me that song, and I'm like, crap. And so pulled all the faders down, and I couldn't catch it. And Keith was my client and my best friend, and I can't let him down. So man, I can't say I got it, but boy did I try hard. And when I finally met Teddy, I paid him the several $100,000 that I owed him for ripping it off. Not really, Teddy. The check bounced, buddy. I remember. You know, I forgot one of your influences was The Chronic, because there's a big influence on me too. I mean, it must have felt amazing to have that as a favorite record, and then not too far after that, you're working for Dre, right?
Yeah.
That must have been a great feeling.
It was very crazy, especially because I was new to Los Angeles at the time. But that was kind of my marker to get into this whole West Coast sound.
That's so cool. You are the current spokesman for all things hip hop and R&B, right? I remember reading that if ever we need anything changed or answered, or you're looking at me like I'm crazy. So just assume you are.
No.
Pretend like you are.
Okay, sure.
So one thing that's been on my mind lately is when I sit down to make a record or mix a record, I have to make certain decisions, and I liked it better when hip hop was way over here and R&B was way over here. Some people say that I'm the one that combined them when I did Do Me Baby, but I hope that's not me. But let's blame Wolf and Epic. It's their fault. But it seems like now we're closer than ever. Those two genres, and should they be closer together or should they be separate? Me personally, I like to see a little distance between R&B, because R&B is one of my favorite forms of music, but it's not as popular as it needs to be. Right. And hip hop's gotten into a point where they're stuck in that same tempo, and they're just playing R&B tracks with rap over it.
Yes, sir.
And it's not I'm not in a position, nor should I criticize it, because that's not my job, and it wouldn't be appropriate for me to do that. But I just like to see them separated a little bit. Am I wrong? Nico and Vince, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. The thing about it is separation is fine. Everybody wants to feel comfortable liking country, liking rock, liking so on and so forth. But all of it dwindles down to just being music. And I think that urban music, we feel so comfortable, co-mingling. You know what I'm saying? So if Drake feels comfortable singing on the record with Mary J. Blige, but Mary J. Blige feels cool being on the record with Fetty Wap, or it's a co-mingling thing, and we just try to make everybody feel at home. There's a couch for everybody to sit at. You know what I'm saying? So I think that
I like that. I see that. I think you're right. You and I are both constructed to always want more. We always want.
Yes, sir.
We always want the music we love for everybody to love it, you know.
Exactly.
And it's just such a special thing. Sometimes I take. Sometimes I overthink things. Let's just put it that way.
Problem.
how do you use the internet? Because I know you're very savvy, and I know you spend a lot of time on the internet. You're somebody that's inspirational for me in that area. Websites like BeatStars and Island Producers, Standard Producers. iStandard Producers. Explain how you're using those websites, and explain to me a little bit about your own website now, because you're emphasizing that a lot now. Describe that whole process, because it's good for young cats starting out to get exposure, isn't it?
Yes, it is. You're not going to be able to be everywhere at the same time. So this is a way that you are everywhere worldwide at the same time. It's a simultaneous thing once you upload your music. BeatStars is a friend of mine, Abe, had a vision. He hit me with it, and I turned around and started putting my music up there, the stuff that was just sitting in my hard drive. And not only did I get, just a great way to get that music out there and help some, starving rapper get a production from, somebody that they might look up to, but at the same time, you start to create relationships worldwide. People that you might not ever shake a hand with. So I think that this is a great way. iStandard is my team. I'm managed by Jay Hatch, who's a
oh, right.
Yeah, he's
I apologize for butchering the name. That's a great website.
Yeah, I love it
team.
over there. Yeah, Don and all of them. So, and they also just center around the producers and all the showcases and everything. It's just a great networking tool as well.
And your own website, you're designing that to be a focal point for a lot of creative people to get and rally around. Describe that to me.
Right now, I'm branding myself. I'm learning how to do that. I'm the truest essence of a creative person, which means that I would rather be in a cave with a rock in front of it, no light in there, So coming out into the light, especially with Compton going on, I'm just trying to brand myself. I'm trying to open my horizons and broaden them. And my wife is helping me with my website. We're just putting up content there. And I'm trying to just drive all my traffic there because I love to interact with the people that listen to my music.
Oh,
and
perfect.
This is the greatest way to do it. Yeah.
Do I have to pay to be on your website?
No.
Do I get special treatment if I come to your website?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially you.
I've known this guy so long, and he puts up with my BS. So thank you for that. Tell us the URL. What's the website?
The website is www.focus3dots.com. So focus3dots.com.
Speaking of three dots, those are ellipses. How do you say it?
Ellipsis, but it's just three dots. I put it there just to differentiate myself from other focuses because there were a lot that were popping up when my name was buzzing, but they never saw who I was because I was always behind the scenes. So there were kids taking meetings, and it was It was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy, and they didn't realize that I knew the A&R that they're meeting with, and they're like, "Yo, man, I'm sitting with a guy that's saying that he did your record," and I'm like, "Go ahead, have the meeting." I'm not. You know who I am. You know what I do. So, but it differentiates myself from everybody else. That's all.
It's kind of cool.
Thank you. ...
What would mine be? Dash? No.
He said dash.
Upside down exclamation point.
There
upside
you
down
go.
exclamation.
Yeah,
Give a little Latin flavor on it.
Yeah, of course.
I'm trying to frame this a little bit carefully. How do you deal with failure? Like you and I both don't like rejection
At all.
Don't have really the tools to deal with it properly. Yeah. Well, if you discount a bunch of firearms. But I've always felt, and Herb always tells me, you can learn from failures and successes. Don't distinguish between the two. There's really no different. The same creativity, the same person. How do you deal with rejection? How do you deal with that? Does it make you stronger? And what advice would you give to a kid coming up that's had everything rejected because he's great, as opposed great and fresh and new, as opposed to just bad? How do you know that your rejection is coming from a good standpoint or a bad standpoint?
It depends on who you're being rejected by. I don't look at all rejection as bad rejection. you know. And at the end of the day, you know, if I play a record for somebody that I look up to, like yourself, and,
Thank you.
and I play a record for you, and you're like, okay, this isn't it. That would hit me harder than somebody walking down the street and like, I hate it, you know. And I hate it is the strongest way you can say you dislike something, and it won't affect me the same way. It affects me when people that I look up to help me, and it does hurt. Yeah, I'm emotional. I'm an emotional person.
Do you have a lot of firearms?
No,
Okay.
but I do have a wonderful wife that's able to rub my
that's
back
so
and tell me
cool.
everything's cool.
That's so
You know
cool.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I get through it, and I definitely learn from it because it's not an easy thing. It's not.
Where do you get new ideas from, and how do you keep yourself fresh? Because like 2000 focus is different than 2015 focus.
Yes, sir.
You've grown, and that's why you're still at the top of the game.
Appreciate it.
You're willing to adapt. How do you get new ideas, and how do you keep yourself fresh? And how do you the things that make you great sometimes are the things that kill your career. You know.
Wow. Yeah, I've been blessed to know some great new young cats. People that definitely keep me on my toes. Cardiac, them
Cardiac.
joints. Yeah. DJ Dahi, Dreddy, Siege Monstrosity. My list is big. Mike and Keys, of course. DJ Khalil.
Well, they got better names than us. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
but Mr. Porter, like all of these people that I listen to, and their perspective on music, because they never just put on the horse blinders. They never do. So they're willing to try different things. And where I started getting set in my ways, they were like, you can do that if you want, but you'll be sitting over there. You know, and it's not something that they said to me, it's just by actions. And I really appreciate them kind of bringing me in and like, try this, let's collab. You can do the top, I'll do the bottom. You do the bottom, I'll do, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's definitely been giving me a whole different perspective.
You remember that saying? If you look around the room and you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. I guess if you look around the room and you're the most creative person in the room, maybe you need a new room and new friends. You need people to challenge your creativity, I guess.
Yes.
That's kind of deep. Okay, batter's box. You ready, buddy?
I'm ready.
Okay. This is gonna be a tough one. Just because you're my friend, I'm not pulling any punches on you.
Okay.
Nothing but
No
90 mile an hour
no special
fastballs.
treatment. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Kicks.
Arvox.
Ooh. Samples.
Vinyl.
Bass.
Fender.
Snares.
Remo.
He's doing too good. Accordion.
Synthesizer. I'll try it once.
Synthesizer.
Synths. The Fatty. Moog.
Sub bass.
808.
Pads.
Omnisphere.
If you were stranded on an island and you could only have one piece of gear, what would it be?
Logic.
Oh, wow. Hi-hats.
Rolling hi-hats.
Tempo.
85 to 90.
I couldn't even throw him off with some vulgarities.
That was a good one.
Okay, I concede. You won. I tried my best. I tried the accordion. I tried to get some other things in there. You cleaned my clock, dude. That was great.
Trying. Thank you.
Let's do this. Let's do something a little different, Focus. Sure. So many kids look up to you. Let's together close the show by you giving them an inspirational path and guidelines to get from where they are now to being like you. You struggled as much as anybody, and you had a famous dad, and still it was hard. Yeah. I know his path. I know the person he is, and he did it the right way. He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't steal anything. He just tried to be the best Focus he could be. Yeah. And it might have taken a minute longer, right? But when you made it solid. Can you just say goodbye to the fans and
most definitely
and tell them something about that?
I appreciate everyone that's listening to the music, that tunes into Dave. But you have to understand that this is not an overnight thing. If your career does come overnight, 10 to 1 you will leave overnight as well. It's very rare when you see an overnight producer or an overnight artist stay the length of their career. My first hits, and I've been in the game since I was 19, my first hits were starting at 32. You know, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes determination, and it's a tireless job. If you don't love it, don't do it. If you want money, go get a job. That's the truth. But if you want to do this and it's a passion of yours, stay the course. When you're in love with a woman, you don't turn around and give up when things get rocky. You turn around and stay the course. Stay the course. This is your other woman. Music is my other wife. So, and I've been faithful to her, and she's been faithful to me.
Man, that's beautiful. I don't know what else I can say except catch us next week, and we'll see you.